Bulgaria has imposed a state of emergency in areas affected by floods and hurricane winds. The areas most affected are in the southern parts of the country. Local media reported that a 9-year-old boy and a man accompanying him died in flooding on Sunday, with more people reported missing throughout the country.
And in the former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia, countless villages remain flooded after record river levels. Weather conditions have slightly improved in Albania, allowing damage assessment after widespread flooding.
Albania has been struck by some of the worst flooding in years, destroying up to 18,000 hectares of land and killing thousands of farm animals.
We begin with the deadly storm from Nebraska all the way to Maine, still hitting at this hour. And tonight into tomorrow, another threat, sub-zero cold, turning everything into ice.
It's knocking out power, canceling flights, and making the morning commute today a treacherous one.
In Detroit, their third largest snowstorm ever, and in Boston,
brutal winds and steady snow have been hitting Boston for the last several hours. That's on top of 2 feet of snow that hit this area just last week.
A record in Chicago, up to 18 inches in just 24 hours. Blizzard conditions crippling the region.
Here's a new one, at least to us, a frost quake. That was amateur video from Kansas City, Missouri. Those sounds have reportedly been going on for the last few months. Local station KSHB has been digging into the source of the booms, even checking to see if a local Air Force base was running test operations, all to no avail.
Parts of northern Japan were digging out from nearly 6 feet of snow after massive winter storm dumped record amounts. Around 50 troops were pressed into action in Hokkaido to shovel paths to snow-blanketed houses in Raosu. And the Meteorological Agency warned of strong winds and further snowfall still to come.
Now to another big story, the weather and the winter that just keeps piling on. Another storm hit the Northeast today. Boston could have as much as 2 more feet of snow before it's all over. The city has now set a record with nearly 74 inches this season.
For the Northeast, it's snow. And for the Pacific Northwest, it's rain. Extreme weather is hitting both sides of the country.
What's believed to have been a space rock just the size of a human fist grabbed skywatchers' attention across a large part of the country last night. People reported seeing the sky light up around 10 p.m, caused by the meteor entering the atmosphere. Many also heard a loud sonic boom or explosion. Astronomers say the space rock was travelling at around 20,000 kilometres an hour.
어젯밤 전국 곳곳에서 UFO를 봤다는 신고 전화가 잇따랐는데요. ¿Qué futuro le espera a esa criatura? 6:27 y las cámaras de alto al crimen captaron
The Fuego volcano in central Guatemala spewed plumes of ash at least a kilometre into the air yesterday.
Almost 200 pilot whales have beached themselves on a remote spit at the northern extreme of South Island, and volunteers are working against the clock to save them. Around 25 of the animals have already died, and more are expected to as rescuers struggle to refloat them.
In what's said to be the biggest whale beaching there in over a decade.
Argentina, pero con otro tema. 7 muertos, un desaparecido y 1.000 evacuados dejaron las lluvias en la provincia mediterránea argentina de Córdoba, en el centro del país.
Parts of the northeast of the United States are in the grip of record-breaking winter storms. Some places in Massachusetts look like frozen ghost towns, with normal life at a virtual standstill.
Wind chills 16 below zero challenged firefighters struggling to extinguish flames in this Philadelphia house. The water from their hoses freezing on impact and coating the home in ice.
Temperatures tonight will be well below freezing deep into the south. At least 11 deaths are blamed on this storm that brought snow from Tennessee to New England. More than 400,000 homes and businesses are without power.
For Boston commuters, nearly 1.5 million daily, this is the new normal. Crammed onto crowded shuttle buses as their trains remain entombed in snow. Today, city inspectors went door to door, urging homeowners to knock down icicles and clear rooftops in danger of collapse. They've gotten snow in 18 of the last 23 days, more than 95 inches this season.
Japan has issued a tsunami advisory after a 6.9 magnitude earthquake off the country's north coast. A small wave of 10 centimetres was monitored on the shore of Miyako, east of Iwate, shortly after the quake.
To the west tonight, and to the race against time to save hundreds of sea lions stranded. These pups just some of the record number found on America's shoreline.
So far this year, more than 900 have been rescued statewide. Experts say disease may be to blame, or warmer than average ocean temperatures could be impacting the animal's food supply.
A fireball spotted over western Pennsylvania early this morning.
It went across the field and then it burned out and made a boom sound.
Dozens of other people saw it too, from Ohio to New York. NASA Meteor Watch says the fireball was a space rock about 2 feet in diameter, weighing about 500 pounds. It entered the Earth's atmosphere above western Pennsylvania, traveling about 45,000 miles per hour.
Wildfires in southern Chile continue to rage, consuming huge swathes of land and prompting a major emergency operation. More firefighters have been called in to try to get the blazes under control in the Biobío and Araucanía regions. A number of people have been forced to flee their homes.
Engineers are trying to figure out what caused the sinkhole. Some people living on this street say this is the third one.
Good evening. It just keeps coming. Winter's parade of misery, from snowbound New Englanders at their wits' end to snow and ice in the normally mild south. And now the next shoe, or should we say snowshoe, to drop. The rush of Arctic cold sweeping from the other side of the North Pole.
More than 100 record lows forecast for the morning.
This freezing weather is blamed for at least 19 deaths in the past week. Many of them happened in Tennessee, where the cold has been relentless.
Some 2/3 of the country is waking up to conditions that are more like Siberia than America. It is the coldest February 20th ever for much of the East Coast.
In Eastport, Maine, they've had a record 109 inches of snow in just 23 days.
Cyclone Lam hit first, rated as a Category 4 storm. Marcia came second, but with wind speeds of more than 280 kilometers per hour and a capability to cause widespread destruction, she was rated as a Grade 5, the highest possible level. It's the first time Australia has seen 2 tropical cyclones hit on the same day.
One woman that saw it says it sounded like an explosion. Others say the sonic boom shook their house. Most of the sightings are centered around the Jacksonville area. And now some reports came as far away as Georgia and even South Carolina.
A 10-meter wide sinkhole has appeared in a street in Naples after heavy rains and a burst underground water pipe caused the ground to give way.
The ground literally collapsed beneath the feet of these 2 pedestrians in Seoul. That looks very frightening.
Urgent expedition is to start probing 4 giant craters that have appeared in gas-rich northern Siberia. A Russian expert says the cause is most likely to be global warming, releasing gases from under the surface. Experts say that the darkening around the inner rim of the crater indicates severe burning, which scorched its edges.
More than 180 people have been killed and many more are feared dead after a devastating avalanche struck northern Afghanistan.
More than 100 homes crushed by the snow after the worst avalanches to hit northeastern Afghanistan in decades.
Heavy flooding has forced more than 4,000 people from their homes in the town of Cobia in northern Bolivia after the river Aca burst its banks. Heavy rains caused the nearby river Tuanamu to also overflow.
Bolivia's vice president met with emergency officials delivering food supplies to this northern region bordering Brazil and called this the worst flooding the area has seen in years.
Said his town had been almost completely swept away by floodwaters.
Question: could UFOs be flying around the Mid-South? Well, one woman claims she spotted one in North Mississippi and has the video now to prove it.
In the video, the UFO looks to be the size of a drone, but she says not so fast. She says it's at least the size of a football field.
That it's definitely extraterrestrial. I don't know what else it could be.
It's not just Boston setting records. Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo, New York are about to break records going back more than a century for coldest month ever.
In New York City, it's been the coldest February since 1934. Along the frozen Hudson River, Coast Guard icebreakers have been clearing the way.
Floods in Madagascar have killed 14 people and forced more than 21,000 from their homes in and around the capital, Antananarivo. The authorities say more rain is due in coming days and could cause further damage to the Indian Ocean nation off the east coast of Africa.
This winter without end brought more snow to the Northeast and other parts of the country, and there is more on the way. Boston has received more than 104 inches so far this season, less than 4 inches short of the record.
In the West, you don't see this very often.
We got a little taste of our kind of weather. A freak hailstorm
this was
on Monday, covered a Southern California beach. It really looked like it was snow covered. This was at Huntington Beach in Orange County, California. Now the temperatures were cold enough that it stuck around for a while, at least long enough for some of the local kids to have a little bit of fun, and they do not see that kind of weather out there very often.
Residents living close to the Villarrica volcano in southern Chile have been evacuated after an eruption of lava and ash in the early hours of Tuesday. The volcano, located near a popular tourist area south of the capital Santiago, is one of South America's most active. It last erupted in 2000. A column of ash and rock particles shot up 2 miles into the sky overnight.